Good morning and welcome to the Courage Coalition. Today's pod drop is all about intuition. What do you feel? What are your thoughts on intuition? Do you believe? Do you think it's real? Or do you think it's just a bunch of made up crap? The definition for intuition is the ability to understand something immediately without the need for conscious reasoning. Think about that for a second. We all have it. Sometimes we just don't listen. I'm reading a book right now and it's called The Gift of Fear. And it's based or written by someone who is an expert in the thought process behind violence, behind behaviors and why people act violently. And I know it's an interesting book for me to be reading, but it was referenced to me by someone that I'd had on the podcast. And I thought, you know what? I really want to read this because I do believe that our fear is such a powerful messenger. But so many times we get stuck in, if it scares me, I'm not going to do it. And so that's the reason I ended up buying the book. But the book has been something completely different. It really talks about this intuitive knowledge that we have and we ignore. Be it the person that walks up to you and makes a conversation and you immediately get this disconcerting feeling, this thought of, ooh, I don't really understand what's happening right now. And we're like, we poo-poo it. We are like, you are just being overreactive. Why are you, this man is so nice. This person is so nice. This woman is so nice. Why are you being such a bitch? But I challenge you to ask yourself, what in you is actually knowing that something's not right? Maybe it's been with friends, parents of your kids, or your own friends. Maybe it's been in the dark parking lot or the coworker. But we have this intuitive knowledge inside of us that leads our fear. It's what has kept us alive and allowed us to evolve as a human race. But so many times we let the noise of outside people, outside beliefs, outside values, outside conversations to diminish what is already in us. Okay, so that was like an extreme example, but this book has been really eye-opening of this knowledge that is in us. And I had never thought of it from that perspective. Now, I am a huge believer in intuition. You've heard me talk about it in the knowing, in the thought, in the gut feeling. A lot of us will have a gut feeling or a heart feeling. But this was kind of something different. And so I wanted to lead with that because there is something very powerful about our intuitive fear. But as we walk into this a little bit more, I want to ask you a couple questions. You've heard me talk about the power of stepping out in the unknown, of stepping out in the uncomfortable. But one of the questions I've brought up recently is the noise. Are you consistently bringing in more noise, or are you being very intentional about the noise you listen to? And so when I talk about new rooms I've been in, or virtually or in person, or places I've gone through just an ask, just picking, I've met somebody or I've seen somebody and I have reached out and said, I'd like to meet. Maybe that's see something they've done. Maybe that's a virtual coffee. Maybe that's inviting them to be on the podcast. There is an intuitive knowledge in me. And I will tell you 95% of the time that I've done any of that, I have been dead on the nail because I don't overthink that immediate need or that immediate feeling that I want to know this person better. A couple times it's been like, oh yeah, that's probably never going to go anywhere. But 95% of the time, it is a relationship that I know that I will either have for a very important chapter in my life or forever. And so when you are signing up for the thing, getting in the room, maybe it's a virtual coaching series. Is it because someone else has told you to do it? Is it because someone else is doing it and you want to be a part of the group? Or is it because intuitively you know, or you have this feeling or this instinct that that is a place you need to be? And I'm not saying this is 100% accurate and that we should judge ourselves or be shameful when it's not. There are many times, the very first accounting conference I ever signed up for is a perfect example. I was sure this was the place I was supposed to be because every person that I knew in the field that I was trying to learn from was going. So it should be for me, right? But what I immediately found is that all it was noise for me. Now, doesn't mean for other people it wasn't exactly what they needed, but for me it was overwhelming noise, a lot of negative. And when I say negative, what I mean is what was wrong versus what can I do to make it better and or change it, or what was right. So I immediately knew upon leaving that conference that I was probably never going back, because that was not the room or the places or spaces that grew me, that encouraged me, that built me. Then there's been other rooms that I've been in, and I've shared this with you, where the minute I heard someone's voice or their messaging, it brought me to tears, or it brought such big emotion that I knew I needed to be in that room. And those rooms that I've invested in to be in have changed everything about me, about the trajectory of my confidence, the trajectory of my growth, the trajectory of the unknown. They have built me in ways that I never dreamt of being, but in my soul, I knew because I listened. But how many times do you not listen? How many times do you say, you know what, you're just being ridiculous? Or it's just a thought. Doesn't mean it's intuition. But aren't your thoughts yours? They're not for somebody else. They're yours. So where do they come from? I want you to ask yourself that. Where do those thoughts, those nudges, those gut instincts come from? So many times I've read a bio or seen a post and or the mission behind something and reached out and asked, can we have a conversation? Or would you be willing to be a guest on the podcast? Or can I come and see your facility? And taken that step without knowing and been so blessed by the connection, by the experience, by the conversation, that has come to the point where I really can't not listen to my intuition. Because every time something comes to me, I hear it, I feel it, and I move one step further with it. A gift is given to me that I can't even begin to describe. Whether that's a conversation that needs to happen, a trip that I want to go on, a foundation that feels so right in my heart, a pivot in the business, a conversation with someone I don't know, the retreat that feels so right in your heart, but you've never done one before. You've never given one. You've never led one. All of those things started with a thought, a gut instinct. I'm not even going to say a dream because they came out of nowhere. So dreams are something we sit with and imagine. These came out of nowhere and were so powerful, so intense, that to not listen felt sinful. So What is intuition? What does it mean in your life? Do you hear it? Do you feel it? Do you ever get quiet enough to begin to hear it or feel it? Because I think one of the things that I have found in recent years is that I've asked myself, why is it that so many more intuitive thoughts or gut instincts come to you at this place in your life versus prior? And the answer, for me at least, is twofolds. One, I'm finally quiet enough to hear and feel. And two, courageous enough to quit doubting my own skill, quit doubting my own ability, quit doubting what I already have inside of me. So as I wrap this up, my challenge to you is spend some time in quiet and ask yourself those questions that you're wondering. Because inside of you is already the answer if you're willing to listen. Until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.